Hi, and thank you for watching us here at Tax Talk UK, where we talk about all things tax and consider other important aspects of working for yourself, being self-employed, running a small business. So today I'm going to talk about SICs, Standard Industry Classifications. And before I do that, if I could please ask you to take a moment to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you'll easily be able to refer back to this information if you should need to, as well as being able to access other information that we have available on a whole host of different topics, all aimed at supporting you in your self-employment. If you navigate to the playlist section of our YouTube channel, you will find all the different topics catalogued loosely to be able to help you to find what is most relevant or what is most likely to be relevant to your trading style or the topic that you're looking for. So back then to standard industry classification. So this is a system whereby a 5-digit number is given to which helps to actually categorize the industry or the description of the trade that you're involved in. So SIC, Standard Industrial Classification, and it is of economic activities. So it helps to be able to see where you fit within the economy and which code closely and most closely or is most relevant to your role and your description of your activities. So if you imagine if everybody was required to just write their description, then it would be quite hard to bring all of these together. So if you think, for example, somebody selling cars, they may refer to themselves as a car salesperson, a car salesman, a motor trader, a car trader. And so for this reason, all of those things accurately describe the description of what the person is actually undertaking in their trade, but it would be hard to filter all of those out of all the different or the other different industries. So the SIC codes help to they help to be able to highlight and to be able to for the information to be filtered. So this may be used, for example, by Companies House, by HMRC and other government departments that may need to look at a group of a certain group of industries or specific people, specific roles that people are taking. So by having the codes, this enables them to sort of filter out. It's also important, so the times that you may need your SIC may be if you're registering a limited company or updating the activities, if you're applying for VAT or again updating your registration. These are the kind of times when you would need to know what your SIC is. So in the description, I'm going to pop a link to the gov.uk site where you can actually go and see all of the list, and that can be really daunting if you look at the list. They are grouped together in sort of industry types, but still it's a very long list, and even once you get to your own industry sort of overview type, it can be quite daunting to decide to read them all and to decide which one is most relevant. You can also therefore download from the gov.uk site a CSV file, the format of all of the codes in that format. And the beauty of doing that is then you can use the find function on the CSV to be able to sort of filter out the things that are going to be most relevant. So some people may find if you're not familiar with SIC codes, it can be a way of sort of highlighting the ones that are going to be most relevant for you. And I say most relevant because that's what you're looking for. You're not necessarily going to find an exact description of your activities, and therefore you choose the closest, the one that most accurately describes the activities of what you're doing. So you shouldn't get too hung up on finding something that exactly describes what you're doing, as long as, broadly speaking, the code that you choose does cover your activities. Then it's also possible, if necessary, to have more than one code. So generally speaking, one code should be sufficient to cover your activities, but perhaps you may feel that two, you actually fall within two, and therefore it is possible to have two codes. The other thing to remember is, so for VAT purposes, when you've given your SIC code, that you should keep this updated if your activities change, because HMRC will obviously be using this to make sure that the right information is sort of provided to you, and will help sort of form their expectations of what to see in terms of VAT patterns from you. And if you're using the SIC because you're registering for Companies House, then you should remember that the SIC code will be on the public register, so anyone will be able to see that. So this should accurately again describe what you're doing. It can also, if you've chosen the wrong code, and say, for example, you're applying for credit and your SIC code doesn't accurately describe what you're doing, then that could obviously negatively impact your application. So it is important that you, and whatever you're needing your SIC code for, that you do choose the most relevant one, and that it is a description of what you're doing. But as I say, as long as you're choosing the most relevant one for you. But also it is important to remember what your SIC code is, and if your activities do change significantly, consider whether you need to update the SIC code, and wherever that's been registered. So I say, I appreciate that it can be quite confusing, but the way to think of it is just a numerical way of cataloguing all the different descriptions. And so you should choose the most relevant one. If you look at the list and you feel quite daunted by that, then you can download it into a CSV, and that will enable you to use the find function to sort of to find the ones more easily, rather than having to scroll up and down. And that you should keep your code up to date if your activities change. So hopefully this is just a really quick and broad overview on what an SIC, standard industrial classification of economic activities, to give it its full name. And hopefully that helps you to understand what it is, and how you identify which one yours is. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.